Hello, hello. Welcome to my live. I have tried to go live once and then I had some kind of issue with, I guess I was maybe logged in from a different account and it didn't allow me. So I had to restart it. So, welcome to our weekly live where it is all about you. It's all about looking at your charts and answering your questions. So the way this works is I answer your questions. I do ask for a donation. These are donation-based readings. Suggested amount is 25. You can send the payment, and I do ask that you use the links that are in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. This way, it kind of goes to me instead of going through YouTube because people sometimes send YouTube payments, and that is great too, but it's just not quite the same. Okay, Monica, I see you. Are you here now? Because I have been having quite predictably during Mercury retrograde there was a technical glitch. So for those of you who are joining, tell me where you're watching from. It's always really fun to see different places and to feel very international when people are watching from Australia and a whole bunch of other places. That always makes me really excited. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Is anyone planning anything fun? I'm going to pull up Monica's chart in the meantime. Yeah, tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you guys are planning to do for the holidays. I am already getting super excited about putting up a Christmas tree. They're already starting to sell them, which seems a little bit early, but why not? Already, I feel like I see people having Christmas trees already. Okay. So let me check. Okay. Yeah. So tell me where you guys are from. Okay. Monica, you're back. Awesome. No worries. Um, okay. So Monica, what is your question? I do have your chart. Thank you for putting it in the PayPal link. So for people who are just joining us, the way this works is you send a donation, suggested amount is 25, but pay how much is comfortable for you. Less is fine, more is great. And then once you do, I will need your birthday information, date, time, place of birth, and your question. The question could be really anything. You can ask me about your natal chart. You can ask me about your year coming up, about love, about, money, career, anything that is on your mind is good for me. And we have Monica who has sent a donation. So starting with her. And I'm just flip-flopping between my tabs just to make sure that I am getting everything. Okay. Okay. So Monica says, I met someone today in the weirdest way. He's a January 6, 76 Capricorn, and the connection is crazy. How did you guys meet? That sounds exciting. Crazy connections are fun. So are you interested in me looking at his chart and telling you first impressions? Is there something going on right now in my chart that is affecting me with chance encounters? Well, Uranus is back in your seventh house. That would be Uranus. What you're describing sounds very Uranian, I think. But let's see what else is going on besides Uranus. It's funny. You're like, very unconventional way. Was this person a gynecologist? That would be a very unconventional. Oh, okay. That's interesting. If a relationship were to start up, it would be polyamorous. That is Uranus. That sounds so Uranian. You're saying unconventional way, being polyamorous. That is very unorthodox and very much everything checks out the boxes of Uranus. Okay, so as mentioned, on November 7th, Uranus has returned to your house of relationships, and we are here at November 24th. So only about 2 weeks after that, and Uranus is traveling backwards. It's going to station direct and then leave your seventh house in April 2026. So you still have a few more months left, right? What do we have here? December, January, February, March, April. So 5 more months. And you're saying it's totally different than anything I would have even considered in the past. Yeah, so Uranus is one thing. It's also your Uranus opposition by wide orb. You kind of have been in your Uranus opposition for the last probably no, I'd say like the last couple of years, as Uranus would have been in the final 10 degrees of Taurus, which is also unique opportunities to look at relationships in different ways and to almost like create more stability in your love life through shaking things up. Because Uranus will offer you unorthodox relationships, unconventional situations, right? And you're born with Venus in Gemini. You do have Mars in Leo, so I don't know how much Mars in Leo would enjoy sharing, because Mars in Leo desires to be adored, right, and to be the best and to be the one. So that's where things may be. I don't know. I don't know if being in a polyamorous relationship and like I'm just not sure, but I feel like Venus in Gemini can definitely be up for trying new things and doing things differently. And then we shall also remember that there is North Node in Pisces in your fifth house presently. So, fifth house is the place of sex and play and fun and having good times. And South Node in Pisces is very much about letting things go and kind of, letting loose and shaking things up and enjoying yourself and letting go of, because with South Node you have Saturn in the 11th house, you have Jupiter and Virgo in the 11th house. Like there might be, and even having Mars at the top of the chart, there might be a very like strong, and your Moon in Scorpio in the first, like strong sensitivity to public's opinion, and maybe a certain like, you know, fearfulness with Saturn and a sense of like, yeah, like I'd say worries about what people will think of you. Um, You're saying that would be how we met unconventionally swinging. That is unconventional. Um, yeah, yeah. I feel like you're stepping into your Uranus in the seventh house. But North Node in Pisces is very much highlighting the letting go of control and like letting go of worrying what people might think of you and going in the direction of pleasure and fun and doing things, just having fun. So I think all of that checks out and I think makes sense. You're saying, oh, 100% worries and how people would view things. Yeah, and in a way, yeah, you also have your south node in Aquarius, your north node is in Leo. I do feel like with north node and Leo, that's also kind of suggesting that you are embracing in this lifetime how to kind of like be entitled to get attention that you desire and to maybe it's in the professional realm specifically, less so in your romantic life, but could be in a romantic life as well. New people who are joining, let us know where you're watching from. I am doing live birth chart readings, donation based. Suggested amount is 25. You can ask me anything about love, career, money, children, health, future. Um, the list is open, so do join us. Okay, Monica says, true, it's on the fence, though. His wife would have to give the okay for him to start up something polyamorous right now with me. Do you feel like that's something you can see yourself in? Um, do you feel like that could be something long term, or like are you seeing it as just like a way to have fun and explore and not worrying too much about where it might take you? And let's see, you said he's a January 6th, 76 Capricorn. I wonder if he's got Venus in Aquarius. January 6th, 76. That sounds like a very Venus and Aquarius type of thing. Maybe. Venus and Sagittarius. Okay. Wait, I don't know if it has updated for you. Maybe it has not. Okay. So this is January 6th, 1976. The moon is in Pisces. Your moon is in Scorpio. So that is nice. And Venus in Sagittarius kind of works. Oh, Mars in Gemini. Okay. Your Venus is in Gemini. His Mars is in Gemini. That is very much sparks inducing, sparks producing type of aspect, type of energy. And then Venus, his Venus works with your Mars in Leo, Saturn in Leo. Saturn and Leo together with your Mars in Leo can suggest that there's potential for some kind of longevity. You're saying, let's see. So far, I think I could. Yeah, yeah, that's I think the biggest lesson of Uranus in your 7th house is that don't be I think Uranus in the 7th, especially in Taurus, and I think I said this already, has this potential to like enlighten you and empower you through, and not just empower, but like bring more stability to your love life if you approach things in a more unconventional way. You're saying it has been sparks for sure. Yeah, I mean, you're a Taurus, he's a Capricorn, right? Taurus, Capricorn, earth signs. You're a Scorpio moon, he's a Pisces moon. Emotionally sensitive, intuitive, accepting moon and Pisces will be very much like chill and loving and like can I guess he's waters can accept your emotional waters and emotional depths. And then yeah, like Mars and Gemini is often a placement that is very adventurous in relationships and very pretty much up for whatever. So if we're talking about like polyamory, dating multiple people, being sort of childlike and playful, that is very much, I think, Mars in Gemini. And yeah, and then he's got Venus Mars opposition, which can also create a little bit of inner tension. But I think if the person is aware of what's going on, they can probably express it in a healthy way. So are you kind of being in this place of trying to figure out what to do and considering it? Because we are, what's interesting too, right? Mercury is retrograding in your first house. And I'm going to share this again. So Mercury is retrograde in your first house of self and identity. And it's opposing Uranus. We just had a new moon here, which is also new beginnings in terms of your sense of self and how you answer the question of who am I, what's important to me, how I want to be known in the world. And so Mercury Uranus opposition Venus is about to oppose Uranus as well later this week. And so a lot of like opportunities to open things up. That's so interesting because this is like one of the examples that I would use sometimes to be like, oh, maybe Uranus in the 7th house suggests that you want to open your relationship and you're considering joining a relationship, becoming someone in a relationship with someone who's married. Um, okay, you're saying we're both are considering and figuring out what to do, but it hinges on his wife's approval. Has he done this before? Has she done it before? Are they happy together? But yeah, he's Venus. He's got Venus and Sag. That's your second house too. Having positive planets in our second house can sometimes be very good for our self-worth. Like if somebody's Venus falls in your second house. Bhavana, hello. Good to see you. It always makes me wonder, why are you still up, Bhavana? It is getting late. If you guys don't mind liking this live to help bring more attention to it, I would really appreciate that. There should be a heart somewhere underneath. Monica says he hasn't considered polyamory before, but she's currently in a polyamory relationship with someone else and is still married to him. They're best friends and get along. Okay. So if she's in a relationship like this, then he should be open to being in a relationship like this. You're saying he just barely considered the possibility since he met me. I feel like you should go for it. I think it's like so appropriate for the transits and for Uranus in the seventh. And maybe, like you said, your relationship, your love life has been full of shakeups and like it hasn't been the most stable. And so maybe it's time for you to like lean into it. Lean into trying new things. If you're watching, tell me where you guys are watching from. What are your plans this week? If you're in the States, are you celebrating Thanksgiving? If you'd like a reading, these are donation based. Pay what you can. Suggested amount is 25. You can ask me questions about your chart, your strength, your karmic purpose, your love life, career, future, if you want to know like what's coming up. And also, if you guys ever want to work with me face to face, you can book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I am teaching a course in March all about predictive astrology. So, yeah, my list is open. I am wrapping up with Monica doing her reading. So, if you'd like to jump on, once you send the donation, there's a link that is pinned and the link in the description. I will need your date, time, place of birth, and your question. If you want your information to be kept private, please email it to me at anastasia.astrology@gmail.com and mention somewhere like at the top of the email that you want your information to be kept private and ask me what's on your mind. Monica says, yeah, it has been shook up. So yeah, lately I've been trying new things for sure. Yeah, that's what Uranus, that's what it would do. There was no way I would have found him if I didn't open that door to swinging. It's funny. 100% would never have done anything like that in the past, but here we are. Never say never. Never say that like you won't try something. Because life keeps surprising you sometimes. If you're resisting things, it might persist. And if you let it go, sometimes something exciting might come in. And you are also in the sun ruled year, right? 45, 10th house activates your sun in the house of relationships, and Mars is there, and Mars is connected to sexuality. So I think you're saying it's funny that it is showing up on his chart too for the sparks between us. Yeah, he's got Mars in Gemini and you have Venus in Gemini. And so Mars represents what we desire, and Mars is connected to sex and pleasure. And so, if, especially let's say in a male's chart, he's got Mars in Gemini and he like desires play and he desires someone who's chatty, who's open-minded, who's like flirtatious and like light, right? And you are deep with your Scorpio rising and your Scorpio moon and Scorpio Uranus, but you also have this easygoing energy to you, maybe Venus and Gemini being like able to keep a conversation about anything and everything and being open to experimenting. And so I think that's probably, whether it's conscious or less so, that's probably showing up for him. And and perhaps what he, like, is driving him. And then you both share some fire placements as well. Yeah, you got Neptune in Sagittarius. He's got Venus in Sagittarius. That could also be a sign of dreamy, dreamy energy. You're saying yes, the conversation and being open is exactly what has attracted him to me. Yeah. Does he have kids? Where are you guys watching from? Do share, say hello. I see that the numbers, we have like some new people joining, and I'm curious where you watching from. My list is open. I'm going to be live probably for an hour. So if you wanted to jump on and get a reading, do so now. Otherwise, we'll see how it goes. Stay a little longer, stay a little less online, depending on what's going on. Bhavana says, "What's that YouTube red thing behind you?" Oh, the live button. Can you see it? This thing, this thing. It's actually, I should probably plug it in. I broke it, so so it keeps falling down and falling apart. Ta-da! See, it's not like doing a good job. It sort of ends up being extremely bright. Too bright. Yeah, it's too bright. I don't like it when it's lit up like this. Hi, Jess from South Australia. How are things over there? Yeah, Bhavana, it's a YouTube play button. It's one of the things that YouTube has sent me because they are honoring honoring their creators and encouraging us to compete, or I guess participate in challenges. Let's so compete. Okay, Monica says that's what is holding things back because one of his kids goes to my school, so he's afraid his wife will say no to it because of that. But we don't know how she's gonna go. I mean, like, it doesn't hurt to ask and like try, right? You can always decide that it's not working or it is working and pull back, perhaps. Bhavana, did you get a chance to look at the last class? Bhavana is one of my students, and she unfortunately couldn't make it to the last class, but your chart got read, so you should check it out to see the reading that the other student has done of your chart. So definitely give it a look. Um, yeah, Monica, sorry, I'm like getting distracted a little bit, but I think you should explore. I think maybe even having Jupiter in your ninth house is a little bit of like, Mercury is retrograding in your house of identity, Jupiter is retrograding through your ninth house. All of those are raising up questions around beliefs and principles and things that you hold true about your sense of self and your identity and your place in the world. Thank you so much for liking it. Please keep liking it. It helps show it to more people. So I think these planets being retrograde are suggesting that you are meant to try something differently that can actually, on some level, as the planet moves backwards, it like connects you to your true self. Okay, you're saying I want to get involved with him 100%. Hope it happens. Good luck. Keep us posted. I feel like we haven't met, but I've looked at your chart so many times at this point. I'm like, I feel like I know you, even though I don't fully know you. So Bhavana is saying, no, I downloaded it today. Yeah, do check it out. Melinda, I think, did a pretty good job of analyzing your chart. Oh, I just said the name, but that's okay. So my list is open. Thank you, Monica, for being first to go. You're welcome. I hope you have a great time, and I hope it's like a good experience. I'm glad that you feel the connection. I think if you're feeling such a strong connection, you got to explore it. You can't just like ignore it, especially if it's very strong. So if anybody else would like a reading, these are donation based. Pay how much you feel comfortable. The amount I suggest is 25. If If you cannot pay this much, you can pay less. If you can pay more, I'll say yes to it. Thank you for that. Um, you can ask me anything. People ask questions about love, people ask about career, karmic purpose, future. If you want to know what like 2026 has in store for you in terms of career or just generally maybe what's happening right now, I can look that up. I do ask that you prioritize one question so that it's more specific and easier to answer. Monica says that's what I told him too. We gotta explore it. Yeah, you gotta give it a try. So, how are you guys doing? Bhavana is asking, what's a karmic purpose? So, karmic purpose suggests where your path leads you, and I guess what's the point of hunger for you, and perhaps something that you're meant to get involved in. And it could be I guess, Bhavana, when I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about your north node potentially, and where is that leading you, the direction that it's maybe taking you, and and all the things that come with following your passions but not letting them take over potentially. What do you think is your karmic purpose, Bhavana? Based on your chart, have you thought of that? Have you thought about your north node? You have north node in Capricorn, right? My take would be boundaries. My thinking would be like boundaries with self-care, with other people, putting yourself first and prioritizing yourself as well. So, you guys, I am going to wrap up. It seems to be a quiet evening. I'll stay live for another few minutes if we have any people who want a reading. I do ask for a donation. Suggested amount is 25. You can pay through the link in the description. There are a few options on there. Once you send the donation, you can share your information and your question. So I can take a few more people. Yeah, let me know. Anusha is saying I applied for a passionate job. Not heard anything. I assume like it's like a passion project. Passion, passionate job. That's an interesting way of calling it. Okay, you're saying not heard anything. As a Libra rising Pisces moon, I can expect my passion job. So Mercury is retrograde, and when Mercury, the planet of communication, is retrograde, plus you've got Jupiter in your house of career also currently retrograde, things might take time. And I just posted a video about December 2025, and there's a lot of squares to Saturn, which also suggests delays and some tests and maybe frustration. So things might not be moving as fast as you would like. Bhavana says, I think it's to be an entrepreneur. Yes, Capricorn. Raluca says, what is Saturn on the fourth house Aries going to bring? So, oh, Monica, sure. It's quiet, so why not? Let's keep looking at the guy's chart. Why not? But you don't know his birth time, right? But we can probably look at some stuff without the birth time. Okay, what is Saturn entering fourth house Aries going to bring? So, Saturn in the fourth house can bring up a lot of baggage and karmic questions involving home and family, comfort and security. It may bring more responsibilities involving family, like health of parents. Sometimes it creates certain burdens that maybe feel heavy that you're meant to deal with. And it also encourages you to set boundaries in the home and figure out how to manage these responsibilities in the healthy ways, because early on when Saturn enters your fourth house, you may feel like you're just overwhelmed by everything that's going on and people are expecting a lot of you, so it could be a time to yeah, reprioritize, also figure out how to take care of yourself, how to get more rooted, um things like that. Okay, Monica says, I don't know his birth time and location, but the chart changes based on current location, right? Not really. No, natal location is the most important. But if you don't have his birth time, we can look at it without the birth time. It's just you got to keep in mind that we won't be able to see houses, but we can still see like how his planets work together and some other aspects. There's still a good amount that you can see, but of course it's not the same as having the birth time. Anusha is asking, how can I get a one-on-one reading, personal or private? You can book a reading at www.anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'm going to type it in. I just put it in the chat for people who are interested in getting one-on-one reading. Monica says just send in for it. And for those of you who are watching, Monica, I think you sent me a request. It came through as a request and not a payment. Mercury is retrograde. Um, yeah, and for those of you who are watching, if you'd like a reading, I ask for a donation. Suggested amount is 25. Pay what you feel comfortable with, more or less, depending on your finances. And after you do that, I ask for a date of birth, time and place of birth, and your question. And it could be pretty much anything. So Pavana says, I like the color of the roses. Thank you. They're still hanging on. I have funny. I still have one of the roses that I used to create Venus and Libra 4 candles. And I kind of want to show it to you. Give me a second. I'll bring it. So you know I make candles, right? I talk about it all the time. I never stop talking about it because I love them and like I light them up myself all the time. So when I create candles, I use offerings. There's a whole ritual involved. I do an incantation and I offer things to the planet and I light candles and incense and there's a magic square. It's all like very special. And so a lot of times the flowers I use end up getting infused with the energy of the moment. And so this was the rose that I used, one of the roses, and look how it just got dried up like in this perfect way. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't like freeze it. I didn't, put it this way. It's just, isn't it so pretty and so perfect looking? And I think it's got the spirit of Venus in it, and that's why it's hanging on so pretty. So, anyways, thank you for mentioning it, Bhavana. I wanted to show it. Bhavana is asking, when was that? I made them in late October when Venus was in Libra still. So that's Venus in Libra 4 candles. If you want some beauty and love and inspiration in your life, definitely pick one up. Thank you for asking, Bhavana. Thank you for asking about flowers, and it reminded me. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with it. Okay, Anusha, I see a donation from you, and I see, Monica, your donation. So, Anusha, I'll do Monica first because she attempted to send the donation a little bit before you. It just didn't work out. But if you want to share your date, time, and place of birth with me, so I can answer your question. These are really, sort of small kind of preview readings. So please keep that in mind and ask kind of like one question at a time, unless you just want me to give you a brief overview of your chart. And yeah, I need date, time, place of birth, and the question. And if you want your date of birth, your information to be private, please mention that and send your birthday information to Anastasia, period, does, period, astrology at gmail.com. Thank you, Monica. Okay. Yeah, yeah, Vivana. It's been a month. It's basically, I think I made it on October 24th, and the whole point is that it just dried up. It's just stayed this way. It's so pretty. And Rob was like, he was like, you gotta hang it so it keeps the shape. And I was like, nah, Venus was in Libra. It's gonna stay as is. Simran, so I see your question. I do ask for a donation. These are donation-based readings. Pay what is comfortable for you. Suggested amount is 25. There are payment links below and in the pinned comment. So if you'd like a reading, I ask that you send a donation and then I'll add you to my list and I will look at your chart. Okay, Monica. So it was Bhavana is fascinated. I am glad that you're fascinated. Monica, what should we give him like a name? What's his do you know where he was born? And you can give me like the first initial or something just so I put something in my thing and I can just put, okay, you said 1676. We're going to say like, I don't know, 7:30 a.m. I'm just going to put his sun on the ascendant, but we don't know his birth time. Okay, Joel. Simran, donations are based, their suggested amount is 25, but then it's based on your financial situation. So I'm just throwing 25 out there because that is an amount people have paid in the past, and I think it's a fair amount. Okay, Brownsville. I'm just okay, Brownsville. And what would you like to know, Monica? Anusha, I don't. Oh, okay. I do see your birthday information. Okay. Monica says anything about love and relationships starting up for him now in general, whatever you think pertains to me in his chart. Okay. Somehow my app decided to name him also Monica. Monica and Monica, even though I'm pretty sure I typed up. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to swap this because we have your birth time. We do not have his birth time. So it's better to have his chart laid over your chart. Okay, so I did mention some of this, right? You have him being a Capricorn sun, you being a Taurus sun. that is just nice in terms of like you are stable and hardworking and reliable, and so is he. And you've got also two planets in Virgo. So together between your charts, you kind of have this like grand Earth trine energy going where he can be the person who shows initiative and and approaches things in a traditional way, perhaps has strong values when it comes to money and prior like has strong priorities, and I think that's attractive to you as Taurus sun who also values stability. He's got, interestingly enough, he's got Uranus very close to your ascendant, so I think that's a sign that he can be quite revolutionary for you, and he can ignite change or inspire change. Kind of him coming into your life and having Uranus so kind of within 4 degrees of your ascendant definitely suggests that he can be this person who like brings revelations into your life. And then he's North Node in Scorpio is also what he's moving towards. He's kind of going in the direction, if we're talking about the karmic purpose, he's moving in the direction of self-discovery and kind of going into not quite self-discovery, but let me rephrase that. He's moving in the direction of exploring his sexuality and exploring taboo things and facing darkness and going through death and rebirth. And you as a Scorpio moon, you have been in that land ever since you were a child, right? Like Scorpio moons usually have this very like intense childhood, intense mother, and like intense experiences early in life. So you can teach him how to be comfortable with uncomfortable things. And then, of course, this beautiful Venus Mars conjunction, that's your sparks. That's your like him as a male figure. I want this. I want to try this and that and this sexually, romantically, whatever it might be. And you being like, hee hee hee, ha ha ha. You're like, let's try it. And so I think that's usually a very like fun energy. Where things might be a bit tricky is his Saturn being in Leo, and him being Saturn in Leo. Sometimes people born with Saturn in Leo, they sort of value a lot what people think of them, and they can be, and I mean, you've mentioned that you have this a little bit too, but there could be this tension around like how people perceive him and wearing a lot of masks and worrying a lot about like his duties to other people and always trying to be the best self even in the places and situations where maybe he doesn't need to worry too much. So because he's Saturn kind of by wide orb, but it does square your sun a little bit, so there might be maybe some type of like, yeah, like maybe him worrying too much about appearances and keeping up proper appearances that might. And he also has Saturn. He's got Saturn Mercury opposition, so he can be really thoughtful. But Mercury and Saturn can also sometimes suggest kind of like if Mercury is freedom of communication, when Mercury opposes Saturn, Saturn sort of restricts it a little bit. Anusha, thank you for the donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, okay, Monica says yes, it feels different. And then you're saying that's perfect. I'm not sure which part which part you're talking about. But yeah, like there's a lot. And like then Venus, he's Venus being in Sag, your Venus being in Gemini. That's a Venus opposition for you, even though it's not by degree, but it's still there. And Venus opposition can also, it's kind of like the opposites attract type of energy. Let me Okay, I'm gonna pull up your composite chart real quick, just because I want to see if anything jumps at me there. And Anusha, I'm gonna look at your question shortly. Okay, composite. So we can't really see houses here. So composite chart is something I use a lot in relationship readings. So for people who want a relationship analysis, um, it's a great tool to see how relationship imprints itself on the world and what can be good, what can be challenging in a relationship. And what I immediately like between your charts is the sun moon sextile. So the and the sun are about, they're pretty much in a very close sextile. And if the sun is masculine and outgoing energy, the moon represents emotions. There is a moon Mars opposition, so it's also a sign of passion, maybe a little bit of like explosive passion. Got to keep a lid on it sometimes. Um Yeah, Sun Mercury also like symbolic, I think, of a strong intellectual connection because that's what guides, like he's got Mars in Gemini, and Mars in Gemini tends to be turned on by words, so like dirty talk and sexting and all that kind of stuff. And again, with you being a Venus in Gemini, I think that's pretty comfortable for you because you have that Venus energy. So that's my bird's eye view, Monica. Um, Definitely, I think worth exploring. I'm gonna stick to my original diagnosis. I think you guys should explore. Okay. Yeah. So thank you again, Monica, for always being here with questions. I love that Venus and Gemini energy. You're saying explosive passion and strong intelligence conversation 100%. Do you notice have you noticed this sort of Saturn and Leo energy in him where he maybe really tries to be his best self and sometimes to a point where it like prevents him from exploring things? You're welcome, Monica. Thank you. Okay, Anusha. Anusha, is it okay to share your information or do you want it to be private? Which can work either way for me, but I want to make sure I ask you. You saying you're okay to share. Okay, so your question is I think I'm gonna do a horary for you because you're saying your question is like whether you'll get a job or not. So I'm gonna start with a horary, and horary is similar to what tarot readers do when they pull a tarot card. In astrology, you pull up chart of the moment. And since the question is very straightforward, like your question is like, will I get the job you applied? Like, will you get the job or not? So I'm gonna pull up a chart asking will. So that doesn't even involve sharing your information at this point. And we'll see what it tells us. For anyone who's watching who would like a reading, I can still take a few people. If you'd like a reading, I ask for a donation. Suggested amount is 25. You can pay through the links in the description or the link in the pinned comment. Once you do, I would need your date, time, and place of birth and your question. And the questions could be a wide variety. Monica says, yes, I do, in terms of Saturn and Leo. He wants to do the right thing with his wife approval. He's really concerned about that, but understandable. Yeah, and it's actually a good thing if you're thinking of like, how would he treat you in the future, right? Like if he's trying to do the right thing, that's kind of a nice quality to have in a partner, even if you're doing, even if you're exploring the unusual ways of being in a relationship. Okay, so we're going to look at a horary chart for Anusha's question. Monica says exactly, it's commendable. Yeah. Okay. So, in a horary chart, first house is always assigned to the individual. So, Anusha is Gemini, ruled by Mercury, currently retrograde in the sixth house of work, right? So, there is some kind of insecurity you might be feeling because of your planet being retrograde. You're looking back. You're literally looking back at the at the job potentially that you've applied for, right? Retrograde means going back to something. Um, so yeah, your planet is in the house of work, which does suggest that this is the concern presently. And then the so the ruler of the 10th house is Jupiter. And Jupiter is over here at 24 degrees. So, okay, so normally you get the ruler of the first house and the moon as the person asking a question. And it might be, this as astro talk might be confusing, but just let me talk myself through it because I find it more helpful when I'm talking myself through it. So, okay, so you're either the moon or Mercury. And the job is Jupiter. So Jupiter, because midheaven is ruled by it's Pisces, and traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. And so what we want is an aspect between your planet, either of your planets, and Jupiter. And so there's not an aspect between Mercury and Venus, but there is an aspect between the moon and Jupiter. In fact, it's very, very close, and the moon is applying to an opposition with Jupiter. So, okay, so this is interesting because it does look like a yes if we're thinking of like, will you get this job? It's a yes, but something makes me feel like, especially, well, the fact that the two are opposite one another, so your moon is opposite Jupiter. What is Mercury doing? So the moon would have aspected Mercury just now. So the moon first aspected Mercury and then it went towards Jupiter. So it's sort of collecting light, it's bringing the light. So it looks like you will get this job. Um where things look a little bit complicated potentially is I just don't know if emotionally you're going to like this job. So if it's something that, as we said, you're saying it requires you to move, I feel like you'll get it, but I don't know if you're going to like it like on an emotional level because you're going to have to move. Are you willing to move? Would you be happy moving, Anusha? So this is a really complicated complicated selection of charts, but all we want to know here is like how does the job Jupiter feel about you? So yeah, so there's definitely like the job likes you. If the job is Jupiter, it's ruled by the moon, which is part of your planets. It's ruled by the moon, it's in the triplicity of the moon, it's in the face of the moon. So yeah, I think you are going to get the job. But I do wonder if like emotionally you're going to like it. So that's sort of my thinking behind this. So yes to getting the job, and it looks like most likely it's going to involve you relocating because it has that sort of um the what am I trying to say? Jupiter connection to it. So this is a very complicated chart. Let's just change it real fast. Is this job going to be really well paid? Because it looks like maybe it's going to be financially beneficial, but I feel like emotionally, I feel like there's maybe going to be some kind of like, I don't know how much you're going to like it. So I still have some availability. If Anusha, also, if you have follow up questions, do ask. And if people want to jump on board and get a reading with me, you can still do that. But I might wrap up if nobody else appears. So keep that in mind. Just take it as like like a last call type of thing. So you can ask me any kind of question. It could be connected to your natal chart. So relationships, career, money, children, health. It could be connected to your future, like what's coming up in terms of the transits and things like that. Okay, Anusha says, yes, I'm happy to move and get paid better, and long-term prospects are better, even though I don't like I have I have to for better finance. Oh, okay. So you're saying you're happy to move, but then you say even though I don't like, what don't you like? Which part of it do you not like? Um, okay, you're saying pays better, not sure if drastically helpful, but a little bit better. And yes, move is going to be extremely emotionally moving across continent. When will I get the job, by 2026 or by the end of 2025? So that is harder to say. It looks over here that very soon, because the aspect is very tight. So if I had to put money on it, I would potentially say maybe by the end of 2025. But I do think it's hard to be very precise. Let me look at your transits real quick. You're saying moving part is not comfortable and leaving your own house and moving with 3 dogs. You have 3 dogs. Oh my god, what kind of dogs? Okay, I am going to pull up your chart. And again, to people who are watching, if you'd like me to answer your question, send the donation. There is a payment link in the description and in the pinned comment. And once you do, you can ask me a question about anything. Um, I will need your date, time, place of birth, and your question after that. Have you lived in the UK already, Anusha? You're saying you'd have to move to the UK. Oh, you are in the UK and the job is in the States. Okay, you are in the UK. That's why I was like confused for a second. So I'm just going to look at your transits to see if there is anything that's showing up. Maybe sort of to be more specific with the dates that you're asking about. When did you apply as well? You're saying you've applied for a job. Could you tell me when? Chihuahuas? 3. We're a pack of 4, including me. That is cute, indeed. I agree with Bhavana. Opinion holes, you did not miss the donation. I can still take another person. So if you wanted to jump on, you'll be next. So it's a good time to get on the list. So you applied for it on November 7th. Okay. So applied first on October 30th, but their system failed and they had to reapply on November 7th. Okay, is this correct for you? August 2nd, 88, 11:17 a.m., Hyderabad, India? Opinion holds 4550. So to get a reading, you can send a donation either by clicking the link in the description of this video or the link in the pinned comment. And then once you do, I will need your date, time, place of birth, and your question. And you can either share it in the chat, or if you want it to be private, send it to Anastasia period does period astrology at gmail.com. And if you want it to be private, also say that you'd like it to be private so I can see that. Yeah, you're welcome, Anusha. So okay, it's interesting because you even the fact that you had to reapply for it reads very much as Mercury retrograde. Okay, so I'm just gonna look at the transits. So it's interesting because Jupiter is currently right next to your midheaven, and it's making 3 aspects to your midheaven, and midheaven is connected to career. So that's why it's interesting, because it suggests that the planet of growth and expansion is very close to your angle of career in your chart. And so it first conjoined your midheaven on October 20th, which is right around the time you applied for the first time. And then the second conjunction happens on December 3rd. So I wonder if you're going to get if you're going to hear back in December. And then the last conjunction is June 2nd, 2026. So that will be your backup in case it doesn't work out. Or maybe you hear back in December and then by June is when you move. When do they expect you to move? Um, Anusha says everyone in live, she's accurate and spot on. I highly recommend going for readings with her. A must try all. Thank you so much. Leos. I love Leos. You guys are so like generous and so nice. Leo energy is strong. I feel like people always talk how Leos are, taking the spotlight, but they don't mention how like good at giving fire back are Leos and keeping us warm and all the love and stuff. Yeah, so Anusha, I think it is a good time for you to be taking like risks professionally, and I think you will get this job, and it might be really soon. It might be in December, but I do wonder like what's going to come up in May, June. Is that the time when the job is going to start, perhaps? Is that when you and your babies will move? You're saying no clue when I have to move, but you are right, expecting you to get a visa by the end of April and move in June 2026. I have to sort visas. Yeah, visas in the States are complicated. I know. I know a lot about that. Do you remember what was happening in your life the last time Jupiter was here? I mean, you would have been much younger. That would have been 2013 and 14. So that's kind of my thinking, I think, when it comes to what's happening for you. And yeah, it's interesting too, because it looks like Jupiter is conjoining your midheaven, so it's growth for your career, but it's also squaring your ascendant simultaneously. So it's a growth that requires sacrifices, and maybe sacrifices that you're not 100% always excited about. Oh, you're saying I moved to UK in January 2013 and got my first job in UK internship, which is a foundation for career in UK. And now you're getting ready to take another leap and move again. Sorry, I got a message, a notification. I got a payment, a donation. Thank you. And I see the birthday information. Please say hi if you send the donation, so I know who to talk to. Bhavana says that's really interesting. Yeah, that's how, like things work that way. They work in cycles too. And Anusha, you are 37, right? So you're 37, and that's also the year of the money house and the house of values and priorities. So financial changes, professional changes are all very much on the menu. I hope this was helpful, Anusha. If you do get the job, please let me know. I would love to. I would love to hear, and like maybe it's really going to happen very soon. Maybe you'll get it in December, and then you'll get to move and be in the States. The next time we talk, you'll be like, I am in the States already, and I'll be like, oh wow. Okay, so I just got a Cash App. If you send it to me, please let me know. And Anusha, good luck. Okay, you're saying helpful a lot. We'll keep in touch and let you know. We'll email you. Yeah, please do. It would be fun to hear if those dates like early December and June, if they become significant. And early December can also mean late November, early December, late May, early June. Okay, so I did get a donation. Oh, hi. Hi, you're the one. Is it okay to share your information or would you like I keep it would you rather I keep it private? But let me start pulling it up. Sharing is okay. Okay. And Miss Mulatto, what is your question? And thank you everyone for your generous donations. I really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting me. Means the world. Okay. Just want to know about career and love life and what's going on with the transit nodes hitting my sun in North Node natally. I assume you mean your sun and your North Node natally. Okay, let's see. Are you a Virgo Sun, Scorpio Moon, Capricorn rising? Okay, so please confirm that this information is correct. I got Virgo Sun, Scorpio Moon, Capricorn rising. Saturn is currently retrograding in Pisces. Pavana is asking, what am I doing for Thanksgiving? I'm going to Rob's family. Gonna hang out with a whole bunch of his family. Okay, you're saying it is correct, but you use equal house system. I work in whole sign. If that's okay with you, I will stick to whole house signs to whole house whole sign house system. Like speaking. Um, Unless you want me to change it to equal houses, I can do that. I just tend to work with whole sign houses and I tend to find them quite accurate, but it's up to you. And you're welcome. Thank you so much for volunteering for me to read your chart. Okay, you're saying whatever works for you. Okay, so let's stick to the whole sign house system. So you said you're curious about career and love and what's going on with the transit nodes hitting your sun and north node natally. So that's like three questions. I usually ask people to prioritize one or two. So if you could prioritize these for me and say that's like what's most important to you, I can try to do all three, but I just want to make sure that, these are designed to be like shorter readings. If you have a lot of questions, I recommend getting a full-sized reading. In fact, my year ahead reading is currently discounted. You can save $20 with the coupon code 2026 on the year ahead, or you can pick up a recorded one in the shop and save $40. Okay. Thank you for prioritizing it. Career and transit notes. Okay. Um so so let's talk about career first, I guess. So your midheaven is suggests that oh, can you still hear me? I'm getting a weird error message that my connection is unstable. Okay. Okay, so yes, so professional success comes from social relationships, or professional success involves social media, working with a lot of people, dealing with a lot of people, maybe working for some kind of like large organization that has some type of like social purpose behind it. Your midheaven is in Scorpio. Scorpio is a midheaven wants stability, but also work that is stimulating, and you have Chiron and the moon here, so it also reads to me very much as a healer professionally. Um, you really deeply care about making change, not just for one person, but the moon in the 11th may suggest that there's a desire to impact more than one person, right? There's sort of this like deep awareness of what helps people. So sometimes you even honestly can see this in like someone who works like in pharmaceuticals, or somebody who works even like working for like an ad agency where you can use your intuition professionally, but the ruler of your midheaven is Mars in the 8th, and the ruler of the 10th house is also Venus in the 8th. So it's it's interesting because it's like therapist, healer, um, accountant, someone who manages people's property, someone who manages people's money potentially. You're saying I'm in the entertainment business. Okay. So are you an actress? Bhavana says can't see the chart anymore. Um, did the chart disappear? But I guess entertainment dancer. Okay. So you are the 11th house definitely seems to come through, right? Like it's about the community. Like um your work depends on how you influence other people. But do you feel like there is a desire to be maybe like to be a healer somehow? Is there anything that with your like moon and Scorpio that is coming through? Okay, let me see. Let me restart sharing the chart because thank you for letting me know as well, because I had no idea. I thought it's still showing up. How about now? Okay. Um Miss Milado says, yes, I'm more connected with my intuition and spiritual abilities to be able to connect with people through reading their birth charts as well. Right. So because of that, like, Scorpio definitely has the having midheaven in Scorpio can definitely suggest that there is like um what am I looking for? Like sex appeal and allure, and it could be good for acting, for using your charm in the professional context. But I am thinking of like the moon and Chiron as perhaps this ability to like help women who are struggling. Maybe moon and Scorpio is a very intuitive placement. It's a very woo woo placement, very sort of you have deep intuition, deep insights into humanity, and so it can help you in any career you choose. But I think choosing a career that actually impacts others and makes you feel like you're utilizing your intuition could be the best. You're saying being like if they're worth my time or who can help level me up, new connections, better friendships. Yeah. I'm not sure if you mean just generally, or I don't know. I don't fully know who you're talking about when you're saying like if they're worth your time. Um, in career. Yeah, and Mercury is retrograding as well in your house of connections and hopes and dreams and your social network. So I think it can suggest that there is some kind of review happening here. Exactly like you mentioned, figuring out who is worth your time, who is worth your energy. Um Priscilla Nicole, hello. I am doing donation based readings. So if you'd like a reading, I ask for a donation. You can pay through the link in the description or in the pinned comment, and then share your date, time, and place of birth in order for me to take a look at your chart. So yeah, I think Miss Milado, for you, I think there is a sense of introspection going on in the career, maybe old connections coming back, maybe old passions coming back and asking for attention right now. And then you asked about the nodes. So, yes, you're going through your nodal reversal because you're born with South Node in Pisces, North Node in Virgo, which means you're moving away from escaping into things and maybe being like losing yourself for other people or losing yourself in situations, and you're moving more towards being Virgo like, analytical, pragmatic, practical, and also moving away from like having maybe like being too enmeshed in your social relationships to focusing on something larger, some kind of mission or purpose or calling. But then once every 19 years, you get your nodal reversal, and it actually often happens right around your Saturn return, which is still 2.5 years away from you, but away 2.5 years away for you. Sorry. But when you get a nodal reversal, it suggests that for the time being, you kind of have to step away from the analytical and the pragmatic and the grounded Virgo energy and go back into your spiritual self and maybe connect with your passions and your dreams and trust your intuition. Because on some level, with the nodal access you have, and when you get your nodal reversal, there is a suggestion that maybe you've been too pragmatic and you've been too sort of focused on figuring out, you know, the minute things of life and handling the bills and worrying about things, and like the nodal opposition is suggesting that it's time for you to go back to what you the gifts that you brought into this life, I think. And again, like sort of connect with your spiritual self and connect with your yeah, like relationships, connections, your hobbies, your passions, your interests, and maybe find the path to wholeness through exploration. You're saying, I feel like I have to change my career based on evolving, and I don't know if that has to do with my North Node. Your North Node says that you're meant to lead, you're meant to show up as a teacher, as a guide for other people. But because it's your nodal reversal, it's almost like you have to explore, you have to try, you have to write and speak and do kind of like gather knowledge right now before you step fully into the role of that teacher, is what I'm seeing. And if you want to gather more astrological knowledge, Miss Milado or anyone else, I am teaching a predictive astrology course in March 2026. Come study, join us, learn about annual perfection, solar returns, transits, how to put it all together, and read charts. Travel in unknown places, yes, for sure. Um, I think it also reads as like you have to do the work to make your dreams come true, right? Like Pisces is the dreamer, Virgo is the analytical workhorse, someone who's like very perfectionist, very grounded and analytical. And so I think when the two of your nodes are balanced, then you're doing both. You're dreaming, but you're also putting the work into things. I hope this helps. I see people asking questions. Hi, Dasha. Привет, Dasha. I am doing donation based readings. So if you'd like a reading, I ask that you send a donation through the link in the description or through the pinned comment. I am going to wrap up unless somebody else wants to get a reading. If, if we don't get any volunteers anytime soon, I will wrap up. So yeah, so if anybody wants to jump on, you definitely can. But so suggested amount for the donation is 25, but it is also based on, the amount is suggested, so it's based on your financial situation. But that is the amount I am throwing out there. So if anybody else would like to submit a donation, Miss Milado, I'm not sure what you mean for someone else's reading. Oh, you're asking, can I pay for someone else's reading? Is the person here? Did they give you like, as long as the person is here, as long as the person knows that you're getting them a reading, then for sure. Oh, your sister wants a reading. Yeah, of course. If your sister is right there, for sure. Okay. Yeah, because sometimes people might be like, look at my crush and he's not here. And like, I can, but it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's good to have the go ahead from the other person. Dasha, there is a link in the description and link in the pinned comment. So there's a few options on there. There's PayPal and Venmo and Cash App. Okay, so I'm adding a second reading from Miss Milado for her sister. So yeah, I would need your sister's date, time, place of birth, and the question and the name. You're welcome, Dasha. Okay, Miss Milado, I see the date and the place that you put in the payment. I would also need the time and the name. And whether it's okay to share the information. Go Pogo's in the house with the sweetest things, calling me an astrology wizard. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Okay, you're saying my sister's name is Tiffany and she wants to know where her life is going and what she needs to focus on. Do you know her time of birth? Hi, Raman here. Okay, you're saying email. Oh, I see. Okay. Is it okay to share her information? Or I can keep it private. That's okay as well. She says it's fine. Okay. Okay, so the question is, where is her life going and what does she need to focus on? Her birthday is indeed on Valentine's Day. How lovely. Okay, just one second. Does this look correct? We have Aquarius Sun, Virgo Moon, and Aries Rising. So if you can just double check. Okay, looks good. So, where is her life going and what she needs to focus on? So, she's an Aries rising, which suggests that she is someone who is courageous and assertive, and perhaps someone who has to like battle for things in life, and there are strong leadership skills. And the ruler of her chart is Mars in Aquarius. That is also where her sun and Mercury are. Whenever planets are very close to the sun, they become very much enmeshed in the person's identity. And so she's got the chart ruler in the 11th, which suggests a very strong focus on community, right? This will come through with being Aquarius as well. This is coming through with having the sun in the 11th house. The sun in Aquarius has strong goals and ideals and perhaps a vision for the community and the world at large. So there is a strong focus in her life on being part of the community and perhaps fighting for the community. Mars in the 11th can be a bit tricky because she's born during the day, and Mars is considered to be malefic out of sect. So it can create conflicts with friends sometimes, and maybe some friction in the social context that she needs to use her rational mind to overcome. But this can also be maybe an inspiration to take on some fights in a communal context. And then she's got her North Node in Virgo. Look at that. You guys have your North nodes in the same place. That's funny. Are you and you're sisters, right? So you're sisters, but you're 18 years apart, 19 years apart. So she's got her North Node in Virgo. She's got her Moon in the sixth house, Saturn in the sixth house. This is also very like service mentality, wanting to make the world a better place. So you're saying she's a salesperson. Okay. So she's got same as you, Miss Mulatto. You're saying you work together on bills. So she also has this, her South Node is in Pisces. So she comes into this world with a soul of a dreamer and someone who is very focused on like the world at large. There may be strong creative talents, and she's got Venus on the midheaven. That's also really good for sales and working with women and good relationships with women, especially maybe older women, helping her career. But her North Node being in Virgo, to me, also suggests that there's a need to find balance through self care and through having like solid rituals around health and around wellness and around diet and exercise. So there's a need for balance between um between what like other people might expect of her and what she needs to do for herself. And perhaps there is, if we're thinking of like you're saying she's depressed in life, does she feel unfulfilled with her job? Thank you for pressing the likes. So that would also be the South Node in Pisces sometimes, and that could be this like sort of tendency to get lost in the 12th house, which is self-undoing, self-defeating patterns and habits. But her North Node in Virgo, I think, can benefit a lot through like learning about nutrition and through taking like daily walks and figuring out how to like find joy in the mundane, especially with the Moon Saturn North Node here. Like her life can have a lot of sort of drudgery, a lot of mundane things, a lot of like work that feels overwhelming. Like, there might be this sort of sense of like having to constantly like deal with some obstacles maybe, and so I wonder if if part of her, like, life kinda calling has to do with learning to enjoy it a little bit, and especially maybe enjoy it if she works for a cause. So maybe it's using her skills as a salesperson, but maybe it's working, like, because she's an Aquarius, Sun and Mercury and Mars, she needs to have some kind of, like, I think, larger mission, larger sort of calling. So maybe it's like working for a company that is doing some type of environmental work, or working for a nonprofit, or doing some kind of volunteering, like trying to find purpose within what she's doing. You're saying she feels like she makes good money but shows nothing. Yeah, let me see if there's anything else I'm seeing. And she's also going through her nodal opposition right now, similarly to you. You guys are probably learning similar lessons, but she's 19 years older than you, so maybe she's a little bit ahead, but you have that Jupiter in Pisces, and Jupiter is really happy in Pisces. Yeah, I'm thinking of, like, maybe working for a hospital, or working for some kind of organization that serves people could suit her really well and could make her happier perhaps. But it's also on many levels with, like, the North Node in Virgo. It's about learning to be present, learning to be in the body, learning to go outside, learning to exercise and do Virgo things, because Virgo energy of, like, serving to oneself can be very healing. And with South Node in Pisces, there might be this tendency to get lost in dreams and fantasies, and on the negative, get lost in alcohol, or get lost in some kind of, roller coaster of emotions. And Virgo energy just calls you to be like, just be here, breathe, meditate, take care of your body, like, find work that is going to help the world somehow, and that can also help you be more grounded. So, like, not doing work that is overwhelming and that pushes her to be frustrated, perhaps, like, especially if she makes good money, maybe she can save up some money and redirect her attention and go in a different direction. Does this resonate? Do you think it's something she'd want to do? So I'm sort of getting, I'm getting two messages. I'm getting a message of, um what was my other sister a lot? That's an Aquarius. She helps my other sister. Oh, she helps your other sister a lot? That's your sister who's an Aquarius? That's nice. That's really good. Is she good at self-care? Is she good at taking care of herself? No worries. So yeah, so I was gonna say, like, I'm getting two sort of messages, and I think one of them is being of service, which is that Moon North Node Saturn conjunction. Like, Saturn in the sixth can make life feel a little bit too sort of difficult, and there being a lot of obstacles. So there's a lesson to be found in trying to enjoy the seemingly boring things, like brushing the dishes and taking walks and even cleaning the body, right? Like, kind of being more present, and the chart ruler being, because she's got her chart ruler in the 11th, but the chart ruler is ruled by Mercury, by Saturn, and Saturn is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is ruled by Saturn. So, like, these energies of the 11th house of community and service are very much intertwined. Um when you're saying no, What is that related to? Anusha, you're so sweet, saying such great reading, so clear and yet polite and conveying message. Oh, you're saying no, she doesn't take care of herself. Yeah, North Node in Virgo, I've seen it. My mom has it. She's 19 years older than your sister. And there's been so many escapist tendencies in my mother's life. And only now in her 60s, she's coming to learn to sort of take care of herself and learn how to be self-reliant and independent. And so I think for your sister as well, but the good news is that she's got 2 planets in Virgo, so I think they can help her. So I wonder, yeah, I wonder if it's like a question of finding balance between good self-care and then work, like having a good work-life balance and having perhaps work environment that facilitates self-care, and then choosing self-care so that she doesn't go for work that is draining. And, like, I don't fully know what's happening in her life and how she's doing, but that's I think what the chart is telling me. So I hope this is helpful. I hope, sorry, I keep rubbing my hands together. My fingers get really cold. I get cold hands and cold feet, cold toes. It's like it's crazy. Cold blood. It doesn't make it, the blood doesn't make it all the way. So I'm going to wrap up, you guys. I've been live for almost 2 hours. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Milado, for asking a question for yourself and then for your sister. Thank you, Anusha, for asking a question, and everybody else. Bhavana, if you're still here, I hope you're sleeping. Everyone else who's been watching, thank you. Please join me every week when I do these. And also, good luck for you guys. Anusha, good luck with the job. And keep watching my videos. If you can, hype my videos. If you're watching them on your phone and it gives you the option to hype, please do. It's this little thing YouTube launched. I don't fully know how it works yet, but I know that I think it's helping because then it like pushes your video a little bit forward. So I'll see you soon. Avi AVS Marie B is asking, when will you do more chart reading? So I've been doing these every Monday, and I think I'll do another one next Monday when we will come back from the, well, most likely I'll do it next Monday, depending. But yeah, usually it's Mondays. So you can turn the notifications on and see when I go live. But thank you everyone who watched today, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.